What's going on, guys? Fun with Knives back again. I got my Byrd Cara Cara 2 FRN version for you guys to look at. This was a knife I was pretty excited about once I found out what Byrd was really about, what kind of materials they were using, and most of all, their price point. I had to pick one up. I decided on the Cara Cara 2 in FRN, obviously, not the G10 version. I even got partially serrated, and I'll talk about all that, but I'll quit rambling and we'll get into the review. This has a 3.75 inch blade, a 4.84 inch length closed, and then an 8.56 inch length overall. So a big knife by most people's standards, but it's very slim. It's just kind of long. It's over 8.5 inches, tons to grab onto, lots of blade to cut with. But because this thing weighs only 3.4 ounces, it's very easy to carry regardless of its size. It has some nestled stainless steel liners that are skeletonized as well, which we'll talk about, but very lightweight, capable, larger knife on a budget. You know, you can't beat this one. So let's look at the blade here. 3 3/4 inches, as I said. We have a cutting edge of 3.19 inches. This one's obviously partially serrated. It is full flat ground, and it is, chisel ground here where there's nothing on this backside. So this blade is very thin at 0.13 inches and just makes an excellent slicer with that grind. Just phenomenal. I kind of wish I would have got the plain version, but it was an impulse buy either way, and I'm not too ashamed that I spent 20 bucks on an awesome knife. We got Byrd 8CR13 MOV on this side. That's the blade steel. As you can see, this thing has an awesome satin finish that's reflecting all that light. And sorry about all the fingerprints on it. I was going to wipe it off, but it's no use. I'll be touching the blade too much throughout the review for it to even matter. Very acute tip, very pointy. But this thing just excels as a slicer. Maybe not an outdoors knife, maybe not even a tactical knife, whatever that means. But a longer EDC blade, absolutely phenomenal. And that brings us to deployment, which is obviously by this comet hole that Byrd is known for. Works just the same as a Spyderco hole. I mean, aesthetically a little bit different, but very easy to access. Because this is a back lock, the detention's pretty strong, so it's hard to kind of do the middle finger flick from the back side, or even the kind of flick it with your thumb. So you probably need some wrist action in there if you're actually going to do that, which obviously I'm not good at, as you guys can see. So it's probably a lot safer to just open it like that, because the detent on this back lock is very strong. As you can see, it sucks the blade in from way up there. So this blade wants to stay closed when it's closed, but when it's open, it's a very secure lockup. There's no blade play in any direction. It's even got that kind of divot. I forgot what they called that. Somebody invented that basically, so you do not depress the lock and close the blade when you're using it, regardless of how you hold it, unless you want to depress the lock. So kind of a safety feature there, really cool. But deployment's great. This hole is kind of left unrounded. It's kind of sharp, but can't really complain too much at 20 bucks. Blade centering is absolutely perfect. How many $20 knives can say that? That's awesome. That brings us to this kind of handle material, which is just Spyderco / Byrd's FRN, their fiberglass reinforced nylon, but it features the bi-directional texturing, which is on my Native 5 lightweight and my Manix 2 lightweight. As you can see, everything is faced in one direction here, so when you push this way with your thumb, you can't go anywhere, but this way is fine. And vice versa when you flip the knife over. It all kind of pushes you towards the center. Very similar to the Volcano grip, just a little bit different patterning. The Delica and the Endura both have it, and this knife is extremely similar to the Endura. Just a budget version. You're getting 8CR13 MOV steel instead of VG10. So I would honestly prefer this over an Endura. I'm sure I'll have one in my collection at some point, but with an Endura costing over 3 times as much, I don't think it's worth it. With this having the same blade style, the same kind of handle material and texturing, the same lock, I really don't think it's worth it. But that's just me, guys. So if for any of you Delica or Endura fans out there, I apologize, but Byrd is making some great options at less than half the price for sure. And of course, that's kind of Spyderco's own doing. It's their brand. It's just kind of targeting people like me who would rather spend 30 bucks on a knife rather than 80 if you think it can fulfill the same function. So overall, this knife is very thin because it has skeletonized nestled stainless steel liners. So you can't even see them in there. There's not a whole lot of steel in there to begin with. But those are just kind of nestled right into the handle. So a very thin package. Backlock is easy to use one-handed. Just takes a little bit of practice, but once you get into it, it's very easy. With the forward finger choil here too, that kind of protects your finger as you drop the knife, allowing you to close it extremely easily one-handed. You do have a 4-way positional pocket clip, just like a lot of Spydercos are offering. You got the integrated lanyard hole through the clip if you want to carry it tip up. But any corner of the knife you want to carry, Byrd Cara Cara 2 written there. Give you kind of a close-up shot of the bi-directional texturing. The jimping here on the back of the knife is pretty solid. On the thumb ramp of the Comet hole, also very good. Got some jimping here on the forward finger choil. So this thing's just got lots of grip. Various positions are really comfortable to use. I think this thing could be pushed into a variety of roles, but mainly I think it's just a good larger EDC knife if you don't want to carry around, an 8-ounce folder. And for a lot of people, that makes a lot of sense. So guys, I absolutely do recommend this knife. In fact, I recommend almost anything that Byrd's putting out at the moment, because they're kind of what I stand for, really, is where you're getting innovation at a budget price. As of right now, I'm kind of thinning out my collection to get some higher end knives. But still, Byrd's using some CTS BD1, some 8CR13 MOV. They got awesome full flat, grinds on a lot of them. Good G10. I mean, they're combining a whole lot of features that made the Tenacious and, the Kershaw Cryo and some of these ultra popular knives. And they're combining them into a package that costs nothing. 20 bucks for all of this features, which I'll go over really quick. Bi-directional gripped, 3.4 ounces at over 8.5 inches long, nestled and skeletonized liners, forward finger choil, a good full flat ground, almost 4-inch blade, a 4-way repositionable pocket clip, and you can take this thing apart too. I forgot to mention that this is, able to be disassembled. So this Byrd Cara Cara 2 and FRN is an absolute win at $20. I think the G10 version is a little bit closer to $30. I don't know if it'd be worth that. Because they have, the cheaper option. But I absolutely recommend you guys get this knife. I think it's a little bit ugly when it's closed. I mean, it's not the most aesthetically pleasing, but just, Spyderco and Byrd say these knives are meant for your hand and not for the eye. And I'm a big believer in that. I think this is a user-friendly knife, one that I'm pretty sure anyone can throw into their EDC rotation. So thanks for watching, guys. As always, I'm going to have more videos coming up shortly. And make sure to like and subscribe.